Mm, mm, mm. I don't know why that delayed. Welcome to another edition. We get this thing set off, and of course, when we move, I have a better office. So when we move out of here, I'll have a whole better office where people won't be messing with my settings and everything. But we gonna kick it straight off. We-On-Loc Nation, of course, and some things that I heard through the grapevine. Of course, this whole progression of MAGA is getting stronger and stronger, all due to the big ugly ass bill and of course the influences of Donald Trump. I don't like it any more than you do, but these black conservatives, they're pieces of shit. That's all I got to say. Anybody who votes, anybody who votes for their oppressor, who votes for basic white supremacy, period, is a damn fool. And we do not feel sorry. I expect white folks. I expect white folks to, you know what I'm saying? I expect white folks to vote for um, Trump and his constituents because they know that he can make them money. All right, that he can make them money. But I'll be damned if a black person can look me in the eye and they can tell me that Donald Trump is going to give them what they've been asking for decades now, and that's reparations. You're not going to get it. You are going to get it from the last president. So what makes you think you were going to get it from this president? If you weren't going to get it from Joe Biden, what makes you think you were going to get it from Donald Trump? Think about it. Think about it. I know my lighting is all screwed up. There's some things we repositioned and re-rotated, and we're packing up and we're getting ready to go. If I do lives again, I'm gonna do lives on my phone because, like I said, we're packing up. We're heading out of here, and my office is a little bit bigger than what it was. But continuing on what I was speaking on, and I'm new. I am very new to politics. I'm very new to politics because I simply don't. I simply did not believe in politics, and I still don't. But there's a side of me that is growing hope because I've seen an actual person, whether it be a man or a woman, like it makes a damn difference if it's a man or a woman. And I'm gonna kill these little kids. But anyway, when I first started, there was somebody in my corner that said that you need to like go away from what you were doing before. And I agreed. And I seen how much traction it was giving me. It was giving me a lot of traction. A lot of traction. And I want to thank one of my co-hosts. I want to thank one of my uh branch holders, Lisa and others. You have put me in a corner and you said, well, let's talk about something not just as important, but another thing that is important. And let's see where it gets you. And come to lo and behold, what I found out yesterday that somewhere in Louisiana, Section 2 is going to be no longer, if voted in by the Supreme Court, and we haven't gotten there yet, is going to be taken away from you. Meaning, and I'm paraphrasing, your freedom and your right to vote, your protection is basically the Protection Act, if I gotten that corrected. But it's not just black folks. It's not just black folks that are going to get their rights. Let's just call them rights. Not only are black people going to get their rights stripping away from them, it's everybody else is going to be stripped, black and brown alike. And Trump is going after each and every single blue state and making it all red. That's 19 seats. 19 seats he's going to strip away if this goes through. When do you plan on doing that anyway? So my suggestion, and there was also a lady, I can't pronounce her name. She's here in the state of Nevada. I think I'm assuming she's from Arizona, but we're just going to say, for the sake of argument, she's here in the state of Nevada. They voted her in when they had their own private thing or whatever. She won her vote. Mike Johnson's bitch ass did not swear her in to it's either to Congress or it's either not Supreme Court. It's either the Congress or Supreme Court. I forget which one. If Lisa was here, she would tell me. Her name is Adelatina. Can't pronounce the last name. I'll just spell it out for you. Grijalva. Yeah, some weird ass names. But she is a Democrat, and she was going to help with that one vote that they needed to release the Epstein files. That number, correct. That number one vote is to release the Epstein files. And of course, there was some bitch assness going around with Mike Johnson. It's been 15 days. I would have sued a little earlier, because I don't know how much time they have before the Supreme Court makes a decision. Okay, so she is from Arizona. They only have but so much time. She needs to get sworn in. If you have any suggestions, because I have only one, it's kind of illegal, but it might get me in trouble. But if you have any suggestions, and Mike Johnson is the only person that can swear her in. If you have any suggestions, please let me know. Go ahead, put your bid in, just help out as much as you can. Call, complain, rally up, make sure everything's legal, because nowadays Republicans are going after everybody who's doing things illegally, which protesting for a woman who won a seat is not illegal. But transitioning on, there is some real hate for Jasmine Crockett. I'll get to that whole fraud thing in a minute. There is some real downright devilish hate for Jasmine Crockett. I caught one Negro, so-called Negro, has this disdain, hatred because how she speaks and how she highlights certain things and how ghetto she really is, where everything comes out of her mouth is so ghetto and so trash. But yet you can't debate her. And of course, we all know Stephen A. Smith. Stephen A. Smith is a capitalist, and Stephen A. Smith is, he does this to everybody, right and left. So he jumps on this side and jumps on that side, jumps on this side, jumps on the side. This is why Negroes say stick to sports. When you getting on Kwame Brown, when you getting on Slava Danko, or you're getting on Bronny James, which Brown had to check you for that. For real, that's the lane you belong in. Because you getting too geeked with the Sean Hannitys of the world. You getting too geeked with the Bill O'Reillys of the world. You getting too geeked and you getting too shaky, friendly, handy. I mean, you've been doing this for quite a long time. So my first question is, how much are they paying you to do all this glazing, as the kids would call it? Y'all come up with so much shit nowadays. It's ridiculous. But I'm just gonna add it to it. How much are you glazing? How much did they pay you, Mr. Smith? Mr. Smith, come to the congregation. Sit your ass in that chair. As my main man, Didrik Davis of the Black New World Order would say. And shouts out to that brother right there. Shouts out to that brother. How much are they paying you? How much are they paying you to just glaze Donald Trump and glaze Bill O'Reilly? With Bill, we all know he's a piece of shit. We all know that Sean Hannity's a piece of shit. But at least as an alt-rightist, he tells you the truth. I will give him that. He has been consistent in telling you what you want to hear. But like I said, I have not seen so much glaziness. I have not seen so much hatred. So much hatred. I'm just going to pull up the clip before I do something crazy. I have not seen any, and I found them. And when I heard them, it's like, any old Negro, so-called Negro would say and do. But this was quite interesting, especially coming from a pastor. A pastor? I thought pastors were supposed to be, forthcoming, telling, I don't know, keeping it real when it comes to the Bible and all this other stuff, and supposed to be very welcoming you into a community, possibly trying to set you forth right for the going down the right path and all this other stuff. They're supposed to be kind and gentle creatures. But Johnny boy, Johns,
Congresswoman. So you have to communicate cultural terminology ratchet behavior to get your point across, to identify with who are you trying to win over with this behavior? Perfunctory and diabolical Democrat Party. And she's gained traction, not because of class, not because of having the right tone, not because of her intellect, not because of her intelligence, my friends, but because she just goes along with the narrative that's oftentimes pushed upon the Black community, where ratchet ghetto culture and the failure to have decorum is pretty much the zenith in the Black community, which has stemmed from Hollywood, from rap music, and many actors and actresses and athletes and the like that push, a unique viewpoint of Blacks that makes some people think that we are okay with failure, that we're okay with poor decorum and or poor judgment. And I strongly feel that it's imperative that more Blacks speak out against this, in particular, brush, so that society will see that there are Blacks who disagree with the behavior of people like Jasmine Crockett.
Oh, I get it. I totally get it. I totally get it. I get it. I get it. She's supposed to act proper. She's supposed to act proper. Right. She's supposed to act like those cotton wigs. You know the cotton wigs. If you're in the civics, you know who the cotton wigs are. Some of you need to go back and take civics. But I shouldn't talk because I need to go do that too. But you know who the cotton wigs are. So we're supposed to act as the Dahlias, and I declared the Fifth Amendment on this the woman is puts her in the cabinet too, and the Jellios and the Calio. The Calio, what's it called? Is this thing, the Calio, the projects, and others change the name. We don't want that. They are turkey and ham, or excuse me, macaroni and cheese. Let's call it macaroni. Putting ebonics on it. They don't like it when you wave your head like this and snap and say, "Oh, honey child." That's just so ghetto. You're supposed to speak like white folks. Okay, all right. Let's hear something else.
Now, I posted on X today this tweet here, and I also put it on Facebook, and there are some people who are angry with me as a result of my statements, but
John K. I'm gonna try to pronounce this person's name right here. Matt Chowell, Amon Chowell Sr., whatever. I'm gonna call you Johnny Boy. What's Johnny Boy? Let me see what he put out there. Representative Jasmine Crockett is a terrible representative of the Black community. Her lack of tact, class, grace, and decorum gives credence to stereotypes often hurled about Black women. She is not a model of Black women. However, Black excellence amongst Black women can readily be ascertained by examining the characters. Ooh, I think he's not only targeting, I could be wrong here, he's not only targeting her, but he's targeting other Black women as well. But I digress. Characters in the meekness of Lieutenant Governor Winston Earl Sears. We don't know who that is. Barbie, do you know who Winston Earl Sears is? Winsome Earl Sears. We gonna do some laboratory. We gonna come into the lab and we gonna do some work. But like I said, they moved everything. So, oh no. Oh, I guess we're gonna use my daughter's old coloring crayons. Oh no, she got a pen in here. So we're gonna do some studying. And we're gonna fact check. Okay, we're gonna fact check. That don't work. Winston Earl Sears. If anybody has heard of Instant World Sears, stop using S to do it. What are you talking about? He said stop using S to do it. I've heard of that thing lately. You see, this is the part where I say, why are you keeping stuff that don't work? All right. Again, we're going to use coloring crayons. I've lowered myself. I hold myself accountable, y'all. I hold myself accountable to using coloring crayons. Winston Earl Sears. Okay, gotcha. All right, let's continue. Oh, wait, let me read the rest. All Black liberal women should denounce the buffoonery of Jasmine Crockett. That's if you see the value, here goes that word, value in protecting how you are viewed by the masses based on her behavior. That hurts. That stings. The value, like she doesn't hold any value. She doesn't wield any power because she's on the lower circuit. She doesn't wield any power. She's not the president. She's not the head of Congress. She's not nothing yet. She's a junior. She's a freaking junior. Get over it.
I don't apologize for what I said, and I think that what I said is actually accurate, and we need more people to just have the courage to say the quiet part out loud. Now, here it is. This is what I wrote. Representative Jasmine Crockett at Black on her behavior. And now, I don't see the error or the flaw in what I just wrote. I don't see any flaws in that. Matter of fact, I wish more Black liberals would just give me a pat on the back and just leave her brother alone and say, hey, you know what, brother, you are right. You are stepping in some hot water, but we're going with you because you're saying what needs to be said. It's not good to have Jasmine Crockett be the poster child for Black women and the Black community in Democrat politics?
Okay. And babbling and babbling using all the type of babble there is. Winston Earl Sears is an American politician, businesswoman, and Marine Corps veteran, okay, serving as a 42nd Libertarian governor for Virginia since 2022. Okay. A member of the Republican Party. Wow. I'm just about done with Republicans, but let's read on. A member of the Republican Party. She is Virginia's first female libertarian governor and the first woman of color to elect on stateside. I know I got to give people a fair shake. I don't know who this woman is. Don't know her, never heard from her, never met her, never didn't. I've met Mrs. Waters. I've met Mrs. Waters before. Mrs. Waters is a sweet woman. I met her. It was brief. How you doing? We shook hands, and that was about it. Ooh, Lisa. Ooh. But yet, we're not going to cast aspersions. We're not going to make any type of judgments on somebody we do not know. But this Negro here.
Just a poor representation of what Black excellence should look like.
What?
But what's sad is Lieutenant Governor Winsome Earl, who would support Jasmine Crockett, wouldn't cast a vote for Lieutenant Governor Winsome Earl Sears.
I wonder why that is. But again, I'm not going to cast aspersions. I am not going to judge. I am just going to possibly maybe find a couple clips, analyze it, or go through it, and then I'll come back with my view, my take. Is that fair? Is that fair? Cool.
Which makes no sense. How can you look at Jasmine Crockett's behavior? Said that if you commit a crime, you're not a criminal. I mean,
you're making this dude is making real critical, which doesn't need to be happening, but he's making some real critical judgments for a pastor. Why not just say, well, I don't agree with how she does things, and I'm just gonna move on, and we're just gonna go over to this Winston Sears person. Too much like right. Just like everybody else in my book. But I don't, and to tell you the truth, I don't even know this dude. I don't even know who he is. But he opened up his mouth 5 minutes, and already the C word is suitable. Do you know what that C word is? Put in the chat if you know what the C word is, what's gonna come out my mouth in the next I don't know, a minute. What's the C word that is applicable to this brother right here?
But these same people would support Jasmine Crockett Crockett and say, no, I can't vote for Lieutenant Governor Winsome Earl Sears. Lieutenant Governor Winsome Earl Sears recently with Abigail Spanberger. Abigail supports men going into women's restrooms. They had a debate, and I mean, Lieutenant Governor Winsome Earl Sears, I mean, she candy from a kid. It was just shameful. Lieutenant Governor Winsome Earl Sears just, I mean, put Abigail Spanberger to shame. But what's sad is, will the black liberals, in particular black women in this case, will they look at Lieutenant Governor Winsome Earl Sears and say, you know what, I can identify with her. She defeated Abigail Spanberger, but she did it in a classy way. She's brilliant.
Oh, I get it. I get it. Once again. So just because Jasmine Crockett doesn't use decorum, doesn't use proper etiquette, doesn't use the English language properly, like I said, cotton wigs, she's just not supposed to stand there and go, oh, Dario, off with her, off with them. Excuse me, is it possible if you could just cease on just saying so much horrible things about my blackness? Now she gonna tell that bitch get the phone. No, she ain't gonna say like that, but she will cuss your ass out. and people need a little bit of pick me up. You ain't saying anything when Obama had all that swag and was telling and was pointing fingers at everybody. You didn't say anything. You didn't say anything to Michelle Obama when she was yelling high and see from the trees. If they go low, we go high. You didn't say anything about her. So let's not start. Let's not start.
And articulate. She has the right persona. Everything about her says the right thing. But the question is, will black liberal women side with Lieutenant Governor Winsome Earl Sears? Or will they just support the Jasmine Crockett's of this world solely because of that and Republican? Now we're going to take a look at this video clip here where sassy Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett says she voted to shut down the government because ain't nobody come at me and ask me what the people in my district need. I mean, that is hood. That's a hood mentality. Take a look at this.
I cast my no vote because ain't nobody come at me and ask me what the people in my district need. Right. They didn't ask me what would look good for those in South Dallas. Right. They didn't ask me about that. So listen, I got people that I serve that are counting on me to do their work and to be their voice and not work for him. I don't work for him. He can't hire me. He can't fire me. The people that elected me in Texas 30 did. So unless you want to have a conversation with me about the priorities for the people in my district, baby, you're not getting this vote. So right. Listen, he can do whatever he wants to do, but this will be on the Republicans. I need people to tune in and learn how to count and learn who controls what. If you want things to function, maybe put the Democrats back in control. Now, I know people got beef with the Democrats not being as aggressive as we should have been, especially since we got him over here just running ramshot over everything. But at a very minimum, you can always count on there being level-headedness and responsibility.
All right, so you hear baby, and all the head shaking and everything like that. I mean,
was he about to start freestyling? All right, Lisa, do what you got to do. Do what you got to do. I think this Negro is about to freestyle.
That's not becoming of a politician, of a U.S. Congresswoman.
First of all, she wasn't speaking but for two individuals, she was on a podcast, dumbass. It's not like she was standing in front of thousands and thousands and millions watching around the world and saying the same thing. Even if she added a little bit of something, what is wrong with y'all? What, you afraid of what white folks are going to say to you? You feel embarrassed? You feel ashamed? You got your head down? Whoa. Jesus was whooping people in the temple. And he said the things he needed to say and did the things that he needed to do. Sounds like you got a little bit of C word in your tank, boy. And I'm not just talking about coonism either. I'm talking about cowardness. Cowardness, standing up for your people, by your people, and against oppression. Old country ass boy.
So you have to communicate and use cultural terminology, ratchet behavior to get your point across, to identify with who.
That sound almost like red pill rhetoric right there. What do you think? That almost sounds like red pill stuff. Like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Like, share, and subscribe to the channel. We-On-Loc Nation. And please, if you like the content, please become a member of the We-On-Loc Nation channel. Let's get it.
Who are you trying to win over with this behavior?
Oh, boy.
There were many people who, through the civil rights movement, gave their lives.
Oh, my God.
Went through grave injustices and the likes to make sure that we could secure our freedoms and liberties and not have to deal with unjust Jim Crow laws.
I knew that this nigga, woo, if it ain't Jesus, it's the civil rights movement. If it's not the civil rights movement, it's something else. Yeah, people did fight and die for our liberties, for our right to live in this country. But there's also that one person, that's also that one woman that basically saved a whole bunch of you from death, and that her name is Harriet Tubman. But Negroes like you, she had to put the gun to your head and said, "I'd rather kill you right here and now before you run back to them." This is the type of Negro that she would not pew pew, but she put the gun to you. If she had to pew pew, that's what she would do. I'm afraid that this is the type of Negro that would snitch on you if you did something correct, if you did something a little bit to the right, or if you went to a little bit to the right, a little bit to the left. I believe this would be the one to snitch on you. What do you think?
Only to see that 60 to 70 years removed from that time frame, we now have products like this who are campaigning and running for office, who actually made it into the U.S. Congress. But this is the best they have to offer? Well, since he didn't come and talk to me, pull that up again. What the heading for that? Since he didn't come and talk to me and ask my endpoint, I didn't vote in support. I mean, you know what's best for your district, and why not work alongside the agenda of President Trump and Mike Johnson to make sure you can do what's best for your constituents? Listen.
There it went. There it went. Right there. Right freaking there. So you would rather jump, dudes. Hold on a second. This dude here, he's starting to get on my nerves. Yeah. Dude, stop asking me to drop the mic. I drop the mic when I want to. All right. Come see me on Sunday. I told you Sundays is not. Today's Friday, isn't it? Let me see. Today is the 17th. So 17th, it's Friday. Come see me on Sunday, bruh. This is a quick lunch, quick grab and head back home type of a live stream. But anyway, there is something about these Republicans / conservatives. Well, I really do not like these bums because they expect something. They really think they're going to get something from Donald Trump. So he's saying work with Mike Johnson and work with Donald Trump for basically for a better tomorrow, a better future. Why would anybody want to do that? And he's set to do the things that he said he was going to do before he got even sworn in office. Are we kidding? And we want to work with people like that who won't even swear in Mrs. What was her name again? Barbie. I'm just going to say her first name. Adelita. If you won't swear in Adelita, what makes you think that Jasmine Crockett is going to want to work with a white supremacist? Why? That doesn't make any sense. That's like me saying I'm going to go and work for a skinhead. Are we not thinking? Adelita won. I think it was like 2 weeks ago. She was here in the state of Nevada and she won her private whatever that thing that they had over there. Won it fair and square, and she was going to be the one to say, "Look, release the Epstein files. You have my vote." And that one vote that they needed, Mike Johnson knew that, and he said, due to this and due to that. I don't need to hear no excuses. I need results, because you had 60 plus people come out and express how they were treated at the hands of I don't want to say dictator, but the hands of a madman who is now dead. But that shit hurts. How do you feel like being the victim? How do you feel of being somebody's tool? How do you feel about being somebody's, punching bag or lapdog or, great victim? Doesn't feel good, does it? But you want me to work, you want Jasmine Crockett to work with who now? You want Jasmine Crockett to work with not only a white supremacist, but another white supremacist. And you pretty soon you're going to want to work with another white supremacist and another white supremacist and another, and then another, and then another, and then another. It doesn't make any sense. Come to think about it, I don't think you know that Jasmine Crockett is the only person to call white supremacy out by its name. And that's why I am pushing for her to be the president of the United States. Not saying she's going to do it in 2028. She might do it in 2033. She might do it. She may do it. Who knows? But I'm pushing for it. You don't have to. I will. I mean, hell, there's a bunch of merchandise stating that she should. And anybody can make up their minds. Anybody.
Listen, the Democrats are not in power. They're not. And so you're going to have to come to the table and do business and do things on their terms to get what's best for your constituents. That's what you're going to have to do. But the problem comes in when people like Jasmine Crockett see that, hey, the Democrat Party wants $1.5 trillion in additional funding for abortions, trans surgeries for minors, and for health care for criminal illegal aliens. See, the Jasmine Crockett's of our world and the Democrat Party, they want that. And they're not going to bend, break, or budge on that because these items that I just listed are their sacred cows. And so they're not going to work with President Trump's agenda because it means that they can no longer, unalive as many babies as possible. Now, you all know that I wouldn't normally say that, but we're on YouTube, but we'll say unalive today. She also knows that, hey, it goes against her party platform for her to speak ill of mutilating who has breasts. She knows, Jasmine Crockett, that in order for her to get the support of the Democrat Party, she's got to be against ICE.
I'm quite done with this buffoon. At any rate, I know a kiss ass when I see it. I mean, you vote for, if you want to continue cooning for these white supremacists, go right ahead. We recognize you for who you are. Even if I'm gonna have to embarrass you, we will embarrass you. And we will put your face out there front and center for everybody to know you are puckering up for white supremacy. Hell, you might as well kiss ass. Yeah, but that's not what they're asking. They're asking to keep they're asking for a specific amount of money to keep it fair for people to not lose their insurance. It has nothing to do with gender, has nothing to do with all of that. People are going to people are literally going to lose their insurance because they can't afford it. They're not going to be able to, the American people, the lowers of the lows cannot afford a premium of $300 was $300 a month or something like that. I look at it, but it's a very large amount. Let's just say, for example, you're trying to get medicine, right? You're trying to get medicine for yourself. Let's just say metformin or high blood pressure medicine. Let's just say it used to be like $5 or something like that. Sometimes there was a time that it was free, right? And then it went from free to like $5. Okay, cool, whatever. $5 to $15. Now with the big ugly bill that's put in the law, you might be paying $100 with the insurance that you already have. With the insurance you already have, which is possible. They might put a day down, but elderly people can't keep forking out stuff like this. If they need blood pressure medicine, if they need this type of medicine or that type of medicine, they're going to have to fork out large sums of money or this. And where does that money go? Straight to Donald Trump's pocket. And he shares it amongst the people who actually put him in office, by the way. And now, yeah, I mean, I told you the hate for Jasmine Crockett is so real. First, we got old Johnny Boy, then we got Stephen A. Smith, then we got people in the, of course, we got people in the MAGA group. We got people in the MAGA group that's spreading these fucking rumors around.
Member of Congress saying that she committed fraud. Completely untrue. We got the information here for you in case you care about facts, all right? But first, this.
The problem is that Americans thought that it was okay to take a full-fledged criminal and make him the president of the United States, and then they want to act aghast when he does criminal things. Let me tell you, we have a thug in charge of the United States.
Stop trying to act as if only white men are the ones that are capable. The coddling is for the white boys. That's what's happening right now. I am tired of the white tears. Listen, if you are competent, you are not concerned. When I walk into Congress every single day, you know why I don't feel a way and why you can't make me doubt who I am? Is because I know that I had to work 10 times as hard as they did just to get into the.
Before I continue, like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Before I continue with this, if they did not like Jasmine Crockett for who she is and what she stands for, she would not be in the position that she is right now. And I'm saying that, as an independent. Vote for Jasmine Crockett for 2028 because we're going to need it.
The seat. When you look and you compare me to Marjorie Taylor Greene or me to Lauren Boebert, there is no comparison. And that is the life that we have always lived. So the only people that are crying are the mediocre white boys that have been beaten out by people that historically have had to work so much harder.
If someone on this committee then starts talking about somebody's bleach blonde, bad built butch body, that would not be engaging in personalities, correct?
We in these hot ass Texas streets, honey. Y'all know we got Governor Hot Wheels down there. Come on now.
MAGA is clutching their pearls. They literally voted for a 30-plus time felon who admitted on tape a while ago to doing things against women as he pleases. But all of a sudden, Ms. Crockett is the issue, according to their rumor. She has been committing fraud. Put her up full mask.
One thing I don't get, and I still don't get, maybe y'all can help me out. Maybe y'all can help me out. Let me put me on full mass. Put me up on full mass. Help me out here. This woman, Jasmine Crockett, Congresswoman, defense attorney, one of the best defense attorney in her district, I might add. She wants to do right by the people, but she is basically being scammed, and she's being told all these lies about her. Donald Trump, we all know who Orange Boy is. We all know who he is. We all know who he's about. Has 34 counts, has been convicted 34 times in 4 different states, known to be a racist, a narcissistic person, a liar, a thief, all these things, and has violated your first, your second, your 13th, 14th, 15th, 19th, 22nd Amendment. But yet he's the president of the United States because black men voted him in. And white women voted him in. I never voted for Donald Trump. Never have, never will. Not in his first term or his second term. But I was the one that told you that you weren't going to get what you did. You weren't going to get what you thought you were going to get. Because he tried to give it to you the first time and you was just waiting. You was just waiting. And when he got convicted the first time around, after that horrible January 6th thing happened, he started planning his vengeance. Look where we're at right now. Section 2 is about to be taken away. Possibly, maybe, we don't know. The Epstein files is still locked away because these people on the right are too stubborn to release them, thinking that there was going to be something in those files that was going to incriminate Donald Trump and have him impeached. You can't arrest him. You can't incriminate him, but you can impeach him because he has immunity. But Jasmine Crockett doesn't wield any type of power. But she is doing some things for her district. I would say, why not we elevate her to a different type of standard, and possibly, maybe, just maybe, she might tone her words just a little bit to appease Stephen A. Smith. But right now she's dealing with all of this, and it's
Let's go down the fact list here. So, Democratic Representative Jasmine Crockett was forced on Tuesday to rebut a fresh new smear campaign. The latest false rumor is that she pocketed her dead grandmother's check. I mean, this thing is blazing on social media. All right. If you Google her name, if you put her name on X, this is the first thing that comes up. The allegation was birthed last Friday. All right. Discovered when America's Last Line of Defense Facebook page posted an image showing a photo of the Congresswoman superimposed over the grave of a person with the maiden name of Crockett. The post read, quote, Jasmine Crockett's Doge audit isn't going well for her. The woman who claims Elon Musk is scamming the people has been conveniently over her dead grandmother's social security checks for 13 years. They go into her bank account as a representative payee to a dead woman. Once again, the culprit is the person screaming that the auditor is at fault for their fraud. The page's owner added this comment under the post, quote, Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett is in hot water after a shocking revelation that she has allegedly been collecting $2,600 a month in Social Security payments for her late grandmother, who has been inconveniently, for her defense, dead since 2012. When confronted, Crockett reportedly shrugged and said, oops.
My bad. So this is somewhat similar to what happened to Aisha James. If you don't know, she was the woman that, and she a Democratic woman from the Democratic Party who basically sued Donald Trump years ago, and now it's backfiring. Since now she's getting sued for basically the same crime that is not even crime defensible. It's not even jail offensible. But they're trying to do the exact same thing. They're trying to do the exact same thing to Jasmine Crockett. Trump does not like you. What part of that part do you not understand? Just because he hangs out with stars, just because he hangs out with celebrities, does not make it a wonderful thing to be hanging out with a white supremacist. If I told you, and people are going to ignore it, but I want you to look up Fred Trump, his father, a former supporter of the Ku Klux Klan. What part of white supremacy do you not get? And these Negroes want her to work to get something out of the deal. Fuck you. You want to get something out of what deal? What, jail time? And Biden was no different. I don't want to hear about Biden. Biden was no fucking different. It made him look like he was listening to you, but he wasn't listening. Gonna have the nerve to say, if you don't vote for me, you ain't black. If you don't get the hell out of my face with that bullshit. So they're trying to do the exact same thing to a woman who is an up and coming congresswoman. Up and coming. And she is being targeted. The hell with AOC. This is an up and coming American African woman who's got that mouthpiece, who can possibly maybe generate the newer generation and up and coming rising congressmen and congresswomen. Hell, I should have played that damn clip.
These are some creative, inventive, imaginative individuals. They have come up with an entire storyline, like a script. They took time, wrote a narrative, provided context for the narrative, put graphics together, made up names. MAGA decided to engage in this smear campaign. Very successful, by the way, on social media. They like to lie, especially to their followers. So Snopes, a highly regarded fact-checking website, got involved, looked into the claim, and found no evidence of Crockett illegally collecting someone else's social security checks in an article titled, quote, "No, Representative Jasmine Crockett didn't collect dead grandmother's social security checks." But while Snopes did its due diligence, MAGA did not. They never do. Okay? A search of Jasmine Crockett grandmother on X turned up a slew of posts, most of which repeat the rumor all over again. The first hint that something was amiss came when Snopes uncovered the archived bio for the America's Last Line of Defense Facebook page, which reads, quote, "The flagship of the ALLOD network of trollery and propaganda for cash. Nothing on this page is real. End quote. Snopes also located an obituary for the woman whose tombstone appears in the Facebook post. Of the many family members of the deceased, none were named Jasmine. Crockett addressed the rumor on X posting, breaking news, MAGA finally loves me. I never thought this day would come, but here we are. I hate to break their hearts by telling them the truth, but I'm a truth teller. So the love affair will end. You see, the latest lie is to do with a random woman who definitely is not one of my dearly departed grandmothers. MAGA fell in love because the lie is that, much like their fearless leader, it was alleged that I too am a criminal. But I'm not. I get 0 SSI checks and no grandmother of mine carried the name Crockett. Get the out of here.
That's the type of woman I want for office. Fuck your feelings. Facts over feelings. Fuck your feelings. Just go. I will fuck your feelings with my dick. Okay? All right? Disease free. Fuck it. All right? So, ooh, and the shirts are coming. Should I wear a shirt or a hoodie? I think I should wear a hoodie. Because it's going to get cold outside. I mean, I live in Vegas and everything, but temperature does drop. It does drop tremendously. I mean, we're in the desert and everything. It gets cold. So I'm gonna wear a hoodie. I'm gonna wear a hoodie and I'll wear the shirt. Jasmine Crockett, president, 2028. Or hell, she might run in 132. So 2032, she may consider running. Who knows? I'm just, again, pushing the narrative out there to say, yo, this possibly could be the one. Now, no disrespect to Cory Booker. No disrespect to Cory Booker. That's my guy. No disrespect to Hakeem Jeffries. I'm just learning him. He kind of represents a little bit of, Barack Obama, a little bit. Yeah. I had to read on him a little bit more. But, and of course, everybody loves Bernie Sanders. I mean, wouldn't you want younger? Y'all? Okay, I'll stop bitching. Bernie Sanders.
She knows how to transmute negative energy, utilize it as a catalyst for her continued progress. Some people do that intentionally. Hopefully you are among them. I try to be among them myself. Well done, Congresswoman. Very well done. I do find,
as a matter of fact, real quick, I don't know how to do it. What did I do on this side? I'm gonna put up a poll, and I want you to decide. I might put it up on the post. I might put it up on here. Who knows? I'm gonna put up a poll, right? And I want you, the people, to decide, my followers, to decide if you want Jasmine Crockett for president, Cory Booker for president. I mean, anyone, if you're a Republican, Democrat, whatever. I'll put out the names out there, and you decide who will be best suited next time and all. But keep in mind, if those blue states turn red, he may not be another Democrat for years. If those blue states turn red and the next election happens and we're not serious about swearing in a Democrat, I don't care who it is. I mean, this is for your protection. This is for your protection. This is for your right. And I'm speaking to my black people. I don't know about everybody else, but I'm speaking to my people. Even if I would say if Kamala Harris got into play, I'll put her name in the mix. Jesus Christ. I'll put her name in the mix. I wasn't even going to vote for her either. But I found somebody strong and independent. This is what these guys fear. Somebody strong and independent who is a female. Best yet, a black female. A melanated female. Looking good in his body. But anyway, yeah, but men have a problem with females speaking, period. So I wonder what it would be like if Jasmine Crockett were to run and she were to actually win. What would it be like? What would it be like? Would men leave? Do you think, Barbary, anybody can speak to this. Do you think all the men who are sensitive for women speaking independently, do you actually think that they would go overseas and become power bros? Just a question.
Convenient that the place where the propaganda is the most shared happens to be on a platform owned by soon to be ousted President Elon Musk. That's possible.
Jasmine Crockett. Okay, at this point, if Republicans are accusing Jasmine Crockett of fraud, of stealing these Social Security checks, I'm just going to assume that some of them are the ones actually stealing Social Security checks, because we know by now that so many of their accusations are actually confessions. Also, this looks really good for Jasmine Crockett, I think. They're really going out of their way to make her look bad. They're obviously worried about her, and they obviously know that her message is resonating with a lot of people. When they tried to cancel her over the Hot Wheels comment, I had to roll my eyes. Let me just tell all of y'all, as a Texan, Jasmine Crockett is not the first person to have called Greg Abbott Governor Hot Wheels. That is a very common nickname for him around these parts. Not a nice nickname, but she didn't come up with that. And people want to say that it's ableist, and Republicans want to make it seem like Jasmine Crockett now is ableist. It's actually a little bit facetious, because if anyone is ableist, it's Greg Abbott. As a disabled person, he made millions of dollars off of the accident that landed him in the wheelchair. And then once he got into office, he made it impossible for anyone else to do the same. So a disabled man made it more difficult for other people to be disabled in Texas, which is why a lot of people in Texas do not feel sorry for him for the fact that he's in a wheelchair. I'm getting a little bit off topic, sort of. Jasmine Crockett, she said it herself. They can't bring her down, because she knows who she is, and she knows how hard she had to work to get to where she is today. You simply cannot be a Black woman in Congress without being an absolute powerhouse, someone who hasn't been allowed to fake her way through anything, or someone who was given less grace for her failures. She didn't get there by accident. She got there because she had to work so much harder to get to that point. So whatever this is, Jasmine Crockett is not going to go down without a fight. And these Republicans, they're not ready for that fight. I wouldn't want to fight Jasmine Crockett either. But there's another aspect to all of this. The Republicans were able to sway more Black people away from the Democratic Party in 2024 than we've seen in a very, very long time. Part of the reason for that is, one, the Democrats have never understood that minority groups aren't monolithic. For another, the Democrats have taken these Black votes for granted for decades. But also, now they have this Black woman from the South who is speaking directly to these people, who is resonating with them. If the Republicans are worried, they should be.
It's a damn shame. It is a damn shame. I'm gonna give my conclusion before we get out of here. I'm gonna give my conclusion in a little bit, but first, shouts out to Tamika Mallory. And it's been a while since I did anything on Tamika Mallory and my son, man. Shouts out to them. Hope they are safe. Hope they are doing well. And this is a response to, once again, Stephen A coming after Jasmine Crockett for whatever purpose it is. He doesn't come after people with that much for just as much power or greater power than what Jasmine Crockett wills, because she doesn't wield any type of power. Not yet, anyway. Like I said, she is a junior. But what I guess it's because, again, she's an upcoming star. And she is making headway. She's making a name for herself. She's starting to make headways. And with our help, not my help, our help, she can be even a bigger star. But I'm gonna need some more. I'm gonna need people to support the channel, support the We-On-Loc Nation channel, aka Jasmine Crockett supporter. Let's go. Shouts out to Tamika Mallory, and she's still looking good.
The next step after the commentary that I see many of you, my son and others, giving on how Stephen A. Smith spoke about not just Jasmine Crockett, but over time, I constantly see things popping up, and I've watched everybody from D.L. Hughley to, a number of people, Willie D, the list goes on, of Black men who are challenging him on different things. And, A. Smith, right? That's not a person that is a go-to for me, because first, by the way, I'm not that inclined, like, to understand all the sports stuff. So let's just say that off the bat. But I don't know sports. I just need to mind my business because there's a million things going on. So as we've talked about before, I saw him, Jalen Rose, or I think it's Jalen Rose. Is that his name? Jalen Brown. Jalen Brown. Jalen Brown. See, sorry, y'all. And in both instances, it felt like I was hearing say, things that make people feel uncomfortable, and sometimes to take pay cuts and hits and sacrifices because we're standing up for what we believe in. I've had that to be problematic, but again, I'm not a man, and I'm also not in the sports world. So I've minded my business and kind of let y'all handle it. But when it comes to Congresswoman Crockett, who has had to deal with the attacks against me from people who don't look like me and people who do look like me, sometimes converging in the same moment, it makes me very sensitive to the fact that when you see it happening to someone else and you know what it feels like, you need to speak up and say something on their behalf, right?
She has been aggressively, her and my son have both been aggressively. You know what? I think it's high time me and my son and Tamika have a little fireside chat. What do you think? You think it's time for us to have a little fireside chat on the White Nation channel? You think that would be a good idea?
And I think that the things that Stephen A. Smith said about Jasmine Crockett are incorrect. Even though he has a right to his opinion, we also have a right to say we don't agree with his opinion. And as a result of not agreeing with it, we need to measure how often is this happening? Is he saying things about Black women and making people feel like he has a particular thing about challenging us? I asked that question because I just went did a quick search and maybe I didn't find it. Maybe someone else knows. Just a few weeks ago, Laura Loomer was out here calling Jasmine Crockett every kind of ghetto bitch that you could think of.
She's talking like she's the ghetto Black bitch of the world, and you know I'm gonna hoochie mama right now.
Looking like the dude from Mask. She got the nerve to be talking shit after she looked like the dude from Mask. If you don't know what Mask is, it's an old 1980 movie with Cher. Look up Mask and Google Mask. She had a nerve to talk.
It was disgusting. Many people went after her for saying it. I didn't hear Stephen A. Smith say anything about that. I also did not hear him say anything about Donald Trump.
You know why he didn't, real quick, you know why he wouldn't say anything about that? Because he feels that Black people should just ignore and be better than their counterparts. I beg to differ. That's condescending and contradicting. Because didn't you just go after Jason Whitlock and come a big fat piece of shit? Didn't you do that, Stephen?
Calling her all types of names, including saying that she's low IQ, this woman who's a lawyer, who was a local elected official, who's gone on to become a national elected official, which means that her IQ ain't that low, number one. And number two, when he talks about her being effective and doing the job and bringing something back to her district, guess what? She's obviously doing something because the people of Texas have moved her from local to national, and people support her greatly. And we do appreciate her all around the nation because she says the things that need to be said when you're dealing with thugs. See, the problem is that Stephen A. Smith is used to going in a room with thugs. And in my opinion, he shrinks in those places because what he's looking for is to keep the check. This is why I bring up the Kyrie Irving and the other situations where I've heard him say things that makes me feel like basically don't do too much. Don't be too adversary because you don't want to mess up your opportunity. That's what I hear. And now you're talking about Stephen A. Smith says that she needs to work with Donald Trump and to work with the Republicans. What should she work with them on? Should she work with them on firing the majority of the special education employees within the Department of Education? Oh, no. Maybe she should work with them on sending ICE into communities where just a couple weeks ago in Chicago, Black children were zip tied together with hardly dressed, barely dressed. Maybe she should work with them on that. Maybe she should work with them on the fact that they went.
Yeah, the same ICE people that went into Chicago and started pulling Black families out, butt naked, with no clothes on, zip tying them. The type of thing that we're talking about.
After diversity, equity, and inclusion, and over 300,000, we believe that is an undercount of Black women have been pushed out of the workplace. Maybe she should work with him on saying that he's taken away freedom of speech. Maybe she should work with him on, and I could go, cutting Medicaid, cutting Medicare. No, he's a thug. He speaks a certain way. And the reason why they want to challenge and discredit and disrespect her is because she has the audacity to speak truth to power and say the thing, how she deals with hearings when she goes in with facts and details and undresses those devils every single time that she is before them.
It's not just that, Tamika. It's not just the fact that she does present a whole bunch of facts and not a whole bunch of feelings. I mean, she does, as long as you have facts to the table, your feelings are irrelevant. But she adds a little bit of swag to it. People hate it, and black people, certain black people like Stephen A. and others, see it as if this is not how you come to the table, looking the way you look, acting the way you act, sounding the way you sound. You're supposed to sound like you're, the opposite. You're supposed to sound like your oppressors. You're supposed to sound like you have genius. You're supposed to sound intelligent. She is intelligent. She is a genius. She does. She represents her district very well. But look where. But look, and look who we kiss ass to. If I gotta kiss that much ass to please the cotton wigs, if I have to kiss that much ass to please a person who racially profiles you, humiliates you, embarrasses you, acts like a narcissist, doesn't care about black and brown at all. But he's going to put a bug in your ear saying, what have you got to lose? And that caught you red hand and sinker. He's dabbing a little bit of, he's just like when you go out to the desert and you're poking holes into the sands, thinking that it will sink to see if there's water underneath it or something else. If there's water underneath it, you're reaching in there to see the illusion of inclusion. The illusion is he's dangling $100 bill in your face, and there are thousands, maybe millions of you reaching for that single $100 bill. Ladies and gentlemen, you have been played. No, I take that back. Some of you have played yourselves. Some of you have played yourselves right back into slavery. Mind slavery. First, they're taking your rights away from you. They're taking your First Amendment rights. You remember, you're not supposed to say certain things on the internet due to the Charlie Kirk incident. He's taking that away from you. He's taking your Second Amendment rights away from you because you're not supposed to wield guns. Only peace officers. If you're in the army, if you're in the military, if you're in the Peace Corps, you're not supposed to have a gun. Who says? You can't burn things out. You can't burn things out. We can't keep continuous to burn cars anymore. That's terrorism. And he also says that it's also terrorism to burn the American flag. That's a year in jail. Oh, wait. That was our First Amendment right. I thought that was our First Amendment right that's basically expressing how we feel. Maybe I got that wrong. So he really doesn't care. He doesn't care for your well-being or mine. The boy has been, we all know that the boy has grown up rich. We all know everything about Donald Trump. So if we know everything about Donald Trump, then why would we, number one, put him back in position for us to fail, basically? How would we're going to put him back in office in a position for us to fail? Firing all those people firing all of his staff, including a 4-star general, all because he couldn't do the job that he wanted him to do. He wanted to fire and arrest the mayor and the governor of Chicago, because he proclaims that crime's been down in Chicago. But if you ain't doing his bidding, if you're not doing his bidding, he will get somebody to do his bidding for him. He has reduced himself to a damn child. He's reduced himself.
In a committee meeting and in a hearing, I wonder if he does that, if he pays attention. So yeah, I take it real personal. And I heard them talking on the Breakfast Club about, we shouldn't be canceling people for their opinions. Well, see, here's the thing. They don't mind doing it to us. Disney, which employs, right? And Joyanne Reed said this to the other day when I was on her show with Jackie Reed. She said something that is so powerful. She said Disney didn't like the opinion of Jimmy Kimmel. And so guess what they did? They suspended him and took him off the air. We are the only people that when we get offended, people tell us, well, it's an opinion and you shouldn't do this or that. We are in a time when Black people, especially Black men or Black people who have major platforms, who have the ability to influence our people in mass, when they say something that is out of line or they are adding their voice to the discrediting and the disrespect of a powerful Black woman who is standing up for us every single day, we're in a time where people need to challenge that behavior. Stephen A. Smith is not just somebody sitting on the side of the road with his opinion. Stephen A. Smith has a large audience and he presents himself as being someone who is tapped into Black culture. And that's why we have every right to challenge him. And I have every right to ask the question, will Black men have a campaign, not just to challenge him on the internet, but you can turn him off. Everybody else can watch him, but you can decide to turn him off. And just to say this last thing, and I'll close it up. Let's be very clear, because I don't want people to think, because that was another narrative that I had with a colleague of mine who said, well, why we got so much smoke for the Black folks, but we don't have the same smoke for these white people. Well, guess what? Don Imus sat on the radio with his opinion about the women's basketball team, which was mostly Black women at Rutgers.
I remember that. Called them nappy-headed hoes.
University, and he called them nappy-headed hoes. And the same thing that I'm suggesting around what needs to be done with Stephen A. Smith, where he needs to have his ass checked. Guess what? That's what we did to Don Imus's white self. And you know what happened? He was fired because we made sure that the radio station that he was on and all of his other little business entities that he was involved in, if it aligned in any way with Black people being consumers of it, we shut his ass down. So opinions don't always just fly. Opinions also at times have consequences and have ramifications, and you can be held accountable for it, especially if your opinion has the potential to lend itself to people being able to say, well, look, even the Black people feel this way because look at what Stephen A. Smith has to say. I have been the subject of the same types of attacks, and I'm going to speak up for Jasmine Crockett, whether she asked me to or not. We ain't talked about it. So it ain't about us her in the background trying to get us. We haven't talked about it, but we know better than to allow it to happen to her, because what happens to her happens to the rest of us.
Shout out to Tamika Mallory. And my son. Shouts out to Tamika Mallory and my son. My conclusion is as follows, and I'm gonna put it this. I'm gonna make it short and sweet. If you don't like Jasmine Crockett, I can understand that. I can understand that you don't like Jasmine Crockett due to how she presents herself. That's a bunch of crap. That is a bunch of crap. You let Ross Perot, you let Mitt Romney, you let all these other figures from back then make a big political fool of themselves, but you never spoke up to them. Bill O'Reilly, you let talk shit about this one. You don't never hold your white counterparts accountable for anything in the world, but yet you have smoke for a woman who's basically a startup kid and has impacted not only the people in her district, but the people in the United States of America. Some good, some bad. And she is getting traction. She is the up and coming rising star, but yet you don't have no smoke. You have smoke for her. You don't have smoke for anybody else. You a flip-flopping ass nigga. And I hate flip-flopping ass niggas. This is the reason why LeBron doesn't respect you. This is the reason why, hell, Kevin Durant doesn't even respect you. I don't even think Carmelo Anthony respects you either. He tolerates you, but he doesn't respect you because of all the noise. And of course, you have too many troubles with Allen Iverson. So if I were you, I'd stick to that dynamic on that side of the bridge, because we all know you all know you about that money. You did as a matter of fact, you did and still do the exact same things you did when you were still on radio. Started off as a journalist and acquiescing to getting on the microphone and going to different avenues and different radio stations. You were doing the exact same shit. You hypocrite. But all of a sudden, when Jasmine does something, it's wrong. It's wrong how she's doing it. You were doing the exact same thing. We got the clips. We got the clips. We've listened to you for the longest time, my guy. I've listened to you for the longest time, and you still have that passion, that fire. But because a woman pimp slapped you, a white woman pimp slapped you and sent you home for a week, your tunes changed. Your tunes changed. It's like, this didn't work when Ray Rice, he hit his wife or his girlfriend at the time. He hit his girlfriend at the time, and he saw the footage, he saw the clips, and you stated the right thing. It's like, if you're a woman, don't put your hands on a man. The women on ESPN are like, ooh, he said that he should get suspended. You were suspended for a whole week. And read an apology letter. I said, yep, he's dropped his guard. Yep, he's dropped his guard. Because he didn't want to see, he is millions and millions, he was going to leave millions and millions and millions on the table. And he was like, hell no. I want to get my mama out the hood. Everybody wants to get their mama out the hood. Everybody wants to get their family out the hood. There's ways of doing it. And your way of doing it, it worked for you. It worked for your family or your constituents because you started kissing ass. And now, years later, up and coming star Jasmine Crockett is doing the exact same thing. and you see it as a problem. Damn shame. And for everybody else who has a problem with Jasmine Crockett, I mean, she's here. She is here. I mean, you can vote for Marjorie Taylor Greene. You can vote. It doesn't matter at this point. We are at a stalemate, and hopefully, I think it's up and coming if they haven't made a decision already, because the Supreme Court already told us, hinted at us what they were going to do with Section 2. They already hinted at it. But it is up to us to start shouting to the heavens that this is not going to work. We want our rights. We want our rights. We want our protection. And you're not going to take it away from us. Because like I said, if they snatch up those other seats that are blue, that's 19 seats gone. Why do you think Jasmine doesn't have her seat anymore? And she's representing the 31st district or the 30th district. Why do you think she doesn't have her seat? We got to start putting our little petty or moral differences or gender differences to the side and say, hey, we may not like Kamala, and she may not be black, but there's an actual real black woman, who is an up and coming rising star and doesn't take shit from anyone. Let's follow her and see where this goes. But like I said, I'm gonna put a poll up later on. I'm gonna put a poll up and see who would you feel comfortable voting for in 2028. Who would you feel comfortable for? Would you feel comfortable voting for Cory Booker, Jasmine Crockett, or whoever is on your radar? Whoever is on your radar, who do you feel comfortable voting for? It's up to you. It doesn't make me never mind no other way. But we need to know because, like I said, this is a critical time. I mean, Donald Trump has declared war on America, and depending on what's happening in the Ukraine, see, we about to get out of here anyway. Depending on what's happening in the Ukraine, Israel, it's not looking good. And if this shit hits American soil, they have to impeach him. Otherwise, it's going to be World War III. They're going to have to impeach him. Okay. Again, getting on my nerves. I tried to, and you need to calm down. You really need to calm down. But it's like I said, they are going to have a real difficult time, and even some Republicans are starting to fall back from Trump because he literally does not know what he is doing. He doesn't know what he's doing. As for the simple fact, allegedly, that he is sick and he just got his booster shot, that's the other part to it that's starting to scare me. But it's up to you. It's up to you. Me and my family, we gonna be right here. I got my guns. I'm sure most of my friends, they got theirs. And if anything were to go down right then and there, we would know what to do. But apparently, because we're prepared for it. It's better to say it's better to say it's better to have a conversation with the people in your neighborhood. Start with your neighborhood. That's what I would say to you. Start in your own neighborhood. Speak to the people in your neighborhood. What would be best for the country? What would be best for where you live? Start where you live. Because, like I said, Angelina and Delita, we're gonna start making phone calls to this woman. We're gonna start making phone calls to the woman and say, what can we do to help you get to where you need to be? Because you won fair and square, and Mike Johnson, who really needs to get his ass up out of there, he needs to be sued. We need to sue him right here and right now before things get a lot worse. You won't release the Epstein files. You won't release the Epstein files, and you're trying to take our civil rights, our God-given civil rights, away from us. So start making, if you're in that area, start making phone calls. Just start making phone calls. Start talking with your peoples. Because quite frankly, Arizona and Nevada are not too far away from each other. Hell, Bullhead is only an hour and 30 minutes away from here. According to, I'll pull it up real quick, because when I looked her up, as a matter of fact, I can pull her up right here. I can go ahead and pull her up right here. Look there. No, that's not what. This is what from the hormones. Oh, wrong one. Wrong one. Let me see if I can find it. Let me see if I can find it. Yep. I forgot what I was looking it up. Yeah, speaking on delays swearing in. Yeah, they have the right. Yeah, they have the right to actually sue if they do not. Let me see. I think I looked it up on my phone. I think when I looked it up, I looked it up on my phone. Meanwhile, like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Like, share, and subscribe to the channel. It's high time me and Tamika Mallory and Isom had a little discussion. Shit, basically about a lot of shit. But either way, it's not important. Yeah, they're planning on suing Mike Johnson. And they have the right to sue Mike Johnson because he's the only person that can swear her in. And they don't want to swear her in because of some nonsensical bullshit that it was talking about. But hell, I'll even pull it up right here just to not confuse you. Just to not confuse you. But I mean, it's fucking sad. I mean, you won. And Jasmine Crockett, she even talked about this. She even talked about how Adelita, their reason is a bogus ass reason. As a matter of, if you ask me, a bogus ass reason why you swearing her in. Let's see. Did I put him? Yeah, I did. No, I didn't. Sorry, I put it the wrong one. My bad.
She's still not sworn in. We spoke to her. Rachel Louise Just with the ABC 15 political team. After a special election in September, Adelita Grijalva was elected to CD7, but she's still not sworn in. We spoke to her about why. 16 days after she was elected with a wide 40-point victory, Representative-elect Adelita Grijalva is still not a member of Congress.
At this point, I just want to get sworn in. Right now, I need to be able to get to work.
Speaker Mike Johnson has given several reasons for the delay, including that the House is in pro forma session, brief meetings with no legislative business. However, back in January, Johnson swore in 2 Republican members of Congress during pro forma. His explanation.
They were here on a day, they had their families here, they had a scheduled day for the oath of office.
Do you bring your family to DC and see if that works? Would that work? Speaker Johnson, will that work if I take my family, my 3 kids and my husband, and we stand on the floor?
Johnson now says he'll swear Grijalva, a Democrat, in once Congress returns after the government shutdown. It's unclear when that'll happen. Grijalva suspects she knows why her swearing in is being delayed.
I will be the 218th signer to the discharge petition for the Epstein files, but basically what that means is this speaker has not wanted to call the vote on the House floor.
Until she's sworn in, CD7 residents have no representation in Washington. Representatives Greg Stanton and Yasmin Ansari are handling some constituent cases for Grijalva until she's sworn in. But Grijalva says there are urgent issues she cannot address.
We're looking at potential flooding here in CD7, and this would be an opportunity for me as the member of Congress to advocate for FEMA to bring out additional resources before we have catastrophic results. And I can't do any of those things until I am in office. I am a citizen. I have no authority to ask FEMA to do anything.
Grijalva will take over the CD7 seat held by her father, Raul Grijalva, who died in March.
Yeah, it's sad. But yeah, Mike just needs to get his ass up out of there. And Donald Trump needs to be impeached. So this is a long battle. This is a long battle ahead. And I don't know what is it we're going to do, but soon, let her lawyers do the work. We'll come right afterwards. If we have to do like a rallying cry, which, like I said, you get on the phone, you need to speak to your peoples, and Republicans or Democrats or whoever, about this person being sworn into Congress. We need to do so. I'll do my part, you do yours, and hopefully things will be a little bit better. But it's still a battle. It's still a fight. And anybody with any brains, know that working with Donald Trump is like working with a dog. You're going to get fleas. I still don't, it just baffles me. It just baffles me that why these people want to vote for a white supremacist, why they want to side and have dinner and eat with the enemy and shake hands with the enemy and Google and Gaga and Sasa for the fucking enemy. That just doesn't make. Why? Because he wants to get rid of illegal immigrants. He's going to get rid of you too. Once he takes away your rights, once he takes away the Section 2, once he does all that, you have no. As a matter of fact, your civil rights. He's going to implode them. You have no rights to this in this country anymore. If this goes the way he wants it to go. But we are the voice of the people. So like I said, spread the word. Spread the word for your family. Spread the word to your friends. My cousin, she's a lawyer. I'm going to spread the word to her. And she's probably going to look at me and say, oh, all of a sudden you run the Democrats. I'm not. I am totally independent. Wherever works is going to work for me. It's going to work for my decision. It's going to work for my due diligence. If I start asking the right questions. But Annalena, we're going to start making phone calls. We will start making phone calls, and we're going to get this situation squared away because she earned the right to be in Congress.